All right, you are now ready to glaze or paint your pots. The first thing that you need to do is to use sandpaper and try to get any of the rough edges off that you see. After you use sandpaper, you have to be able to get any of the dust or any of the particles that you sanded off, or the glaze will not stick. So it's really important after you sand that you get a wet paper towel, a moist paper towel, and you start to wipe off your project. Okay, so make sure that you really soak it and really wring it out. It has to dry before you start to glaze. So this is a really important step. If you don't do this and you glaze over the dust, your glaze will not stick. Okay, so before you glaze, you're gonna just throw away that newspaper and get new newspaper because you don't want any of the dust to be there. So you can see how I set this up. I already did my first layer on the back, but you can see on the pot, you can see that I have it up on a stand, that I have paper towel underneath, and I'm going to mix more glaze. Whatever you see on the top of the glaze, that is the true color. You can see I'm pointing to that. I want to make a bluish green color, so I'm going to mix blue and yellow to make green. I'm going to need more blue than yellow to be able to do this. Okay, so you really have to look at your glazes. Make sure that you're wiping off the top of the glaze, the bottles after you pour it. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard for someone else. If you want to make sure that there's a fork and a knife. That means it's food safe. You can read the directions on the bottom, but you really need to shake it. Okay, we're moving on. We're ready to glaze. You want to make sure after you do your first coat, you go one way all around your pot, and you really, really, really need to let it dry. This is really important that you go one way. That's your top coat. And then after it dries, you can go your second coat. You're going to go in the opposite direction. Okay? If you add too much clay too fast, it has the tendency of coming off. Okay, so here you see I'm mixing to make a bluish green. Now, because it's my top coat, I'm actually mixing the glaze on top. So I didn't, because I want it to be an ombre look. So I'm sort of thinking of it as paint, and I'm trying to do more yellow green at the top and blue green at the bottom. So I'm literally painting on the glaze like I would on a project. This is a little harder. It's easier to mix the entire color that you think you're going to have. The hard part about this is that you can't see what color it'll be until it comes out of the kiln. Okay, so just make sure that you're doing all of your, no matter how many pieces you have, and that you cover all of your surfaces. Okay, you can do 3 coats if you want it to be a really nice thick color, but you need to let it dry. It's really important that you let it dry between all of your layers because it's very easy to chip off if you don't. Okay, and then it feels like a waste of your time. After it comes out of the kiln, and if you don't like it, you can re-glaze it. You can only glaze it twice. Okay,